Hello friends, and welcome back to Dishonored 2, You Only Live Once. In the last episode, we uncovered the secret of the Crown Killer and helped cure the good Dr. Alexandria Hypatia, whose use of a flawed serum was causing that twisted personality to take control of her.
You might want to talk to Hypatia before we head out.
Hypatia's doing much better, and she's brought a treasure trove of mana potions with her. And we're pretty well stocked on those, but I won't say no to topping them off. This is why you shouldn't be afraid to be liberal with your mana usage in Addermire.
Hypatia, what can you remember?
The Duke is close to his grand inventor, Kirin Jindosh. But that man has the empathy of a mantis. I'm not sure I even fully understand what you did for me, but I owe you for helping me at Addermire. Thank you.
Not only is Hypatia now free to continue her good work helping the people of Karnaca, we've deprived Delilah and Duke Abel of a critical ally. All in all, I'd call that a good day's work. As if that weren't enough, we also found some incredible bone charms. Spirit Water, which lets us drink from any faucet or tap to recover mana, and Hardiness, which increases our maximum health. Both of these are epic win, and Spirit Water in particular is an absolute game changer. As well, I was in a hurry and didn't notice that I'd picked it up at the time, but Lightweight is another fantastic find. It reduces my falling damage in exchange for having my health regenerate, and since I'm never healing, that's a buff with no downside. Before I equip that, I'm afraid it's not all rainbows and unicorns. I also discovered a bug in the Vitality enhancement that causes your health to reset the next time you load your game if you've only taken a very small amount of damage. As you can see, my health is at maximum, and it definitely should not be. Obviously, we can't have that in a run where all damage is permanent. Fortunately, I found a spot here on the Dreadful Whale where I can jump to damage myself for the same amount that I'd taken in episode 2. It may not look like the same amount because I have the Hardness Bone Charm further increasing my max health, and Dishonored's irregularly shaped health bar makes it tough to tell, but I've tested this extensively on my free play save slot to make sure. The integrity of this challenge is very important to me. Finally, this maintenance note says there's a leak in need of fixing, and since I'd rather the boat didn't sink, I'm going to grab this crank wheel and take care of things. And with all that out of the way, let's hop in the skiff and head towards the Aventa district.
Alright, let's get underway. Corvo, take care of this crazy man and his Clockwork soldiers, then bring Sokolov back. He means a lot to me.
We will definitely do so on both counts. Now to begin with, let's get our boots wet for a moment, because there's some whalebone over here I definitely want. Just one, but it adds up, and we'll be going through a lot of it. And grab some valuables on the way past. Okay, where's this guy? Good. So I want his pouch. Alright, let's hug the wall and take it easy on the way up. As soon as we got a clear shot. And likewise here. There we go. There's a couple nests in here, and they can be a little bit of a pain to deal with, but what I like to do is just throw a sticky mine in there. Place it on the wall, it should blow them both up. Have some whalebone and a little bit of coin. And there's a diary here that essentially describes what they were doing, what this so-called seance was. In short, they were more or less reenacting the movie Flatliners in an attempt to reach the void, and it did not work out too well for them, because the way they tried to do that was by having themselves stung by bloodflies. And, yeah. Darwin Award. This door is blocked. Unfortunately, no one will hear us blast through it. Let's briefly say hi to the outsider. And when I say hi, I mean take his runes. Because with that shrine, we now have 8 runes to spend, and that means it's time to max out our bone charm crafting. Now you can begin crafting with just the 1 rune to buy the basic power, but all you'll really be able to do with that is save charm slots by merging 2 or more regular bone charms into 1. Trait synergy upgrade, which lets you stack the same trait up to 4 times, this is where it gets really powerful. And in order to make the most of that, you really need to get the other 2 upgrades in order to avoid corruption. That or quick save and quick load a whole lot, which we're not doing. Now, 8 runes is obviously a steep investment, and I've seen a lot of Dishonored players comment that they just don't think it's worth it. And while they're entitled to their opinions, since bone charms are randomized each playthrough, if you haven't found any good ones, that might be true. I wouldn't be investing in it this early if I hadn't found some absolutely fantastic charms, though I'd do so eventually, if only for void favor. But I think a lot of players just don't understand how powerful trait stacking really is. Let's start by sacrificing some charms. I definitely want 4x versions of Spirit Water and Void Favor, so let's begin with those to learn the traits. And since we've got plenty of Whalebone, we'll be picking up a lot of it. The basic version of Void Favor has, I believe, a 5% chance for a power usage to consume no mana. And so all of these are a linear stacking increase, so multiply that by 4, and you get a 1 in 5 chance of every time you use a power, it not consuming mana. Put that in the context of put that in the context of high mana usage powers like Stop Time or Possession, and it gets ridiculous. And then as for Spirit Water, and that sound effect just means that there's going to be no corruption. It would sound a lot more like a brassy gong if there was going to be. Now let's get both of those equipped. Excellent. And let me burn all my mana by blinking around. And we're a bit unlucky there because Void Favor didn't trigger, but all of our mana is now consumed, and if we just hit this tap a handful of times, in moments, our mana bar is refilled. Now, it'll take a few more moments to fully finish refilling itself, but you can see that that just gave us back all of our mana in just a handful of moments drinking from a faucet, and faucets are everywhere. It's amazing. You can probably understand now why I was so excited when I saw that. Let's grab this chloroform bottle and blink over here. And there's a painting and a handful of valuables. And a note which doesn't really explain so much as imply what happened here. Essentially, this guard was involved in an event that we'll get to later in the game, and Brianna Ashworth, who we'll also get to later, and she thought, oh my. I was about to explain that, so Brianna Ashworth sent him what I believe was some poisoned wine to take care of him, but what interrupted me right there is the fact that we just picked up Lucky Needle. And Lucky Needle is another one of those charms that is insanely powerful. So we're going to sacrifice that right now and immediately make a 4x version of it. Slight chance to recover sleep darts. Well, slight, when you multiply it by 4 times, ends up being a near infinite supply of sleep darts. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. That's going to be amazing. I'm going to equip that immediately. And we'll probably get to see that in action almost immediately. All right, where did I put the chloroform? Right around, oh, it's right there. Okay. All right, now, when you blink over here, if you're too close to the right, then it's going to trigger some guards to come in via carriage, and, well, I don't want that to happen quite yet. I will trigger it momentarily, but for now, what I want to do is blink over here and keep to the left so that I can first clear out this apartment. And there's a big painting of the Lord Regent. And Black Bone Charm, Fading Light. Not really all that useful to me. But I'll be happy to break it down. Have a quick drink here. And let's head downstairs. And there's a safe in this office. The combination is going to be 05 something. So open the cash register and let's see, 0, and we'll spin this all the way around to 5. And then just spin the last tumbler. Oh, it almost immediately clicks. Aside from the valuables, there's a notebook in here which has minutes for the gathering of the Regenters. And essentially, these were some folks who were essentially fans of the late Lord Regent and not so much fans of the late Jessamine. And oops. And they were doing various things like voting on whether they should put on Lord Regent armbands and engage in other passive-aggressive protest behavior, and, well, sucks to be them. But now we have their stuff, so let's head back upstairs. Bring this with us. And momentarily, this carriage is going to come in. There's different ways you can deal with them. What I used to do is blink down there while I'm waiting for them, slap down a stun mine, then go hide. But that's just kind of wasteful. So what I am going to do is wait until the first god comes out and paths away. And he's going to stay facing that direction for a short time. And we've got just enough window of opportunity to drop on this first guy and then go take care of him. And normally I would just run up on him, or rather sneak. But since we just found that bone charm,
You're not supposed to be.
we're going to wait for him to knock himself out. And we get our sleep dart right back. Spiritual pool. Oh, that's actually quite useful as well. Remind me which one that is again. Let's see. I can do without that one. Mana regeneration is slightly faster. That is also useful, because as you saw, it took a while for the bar to complete refilling, even after we filled it up with the with spirit water. So, although I'm not going to do so right now, I will probably make a 4x version of that at some point. But for now, we have a bunch of people to take out. There's 5 howlers in this back alley, with one of them acting as bait to try to draw people in. And there's a bunch of guards out there. And while I can individually pick them apart, what I like to do is set them on each other. And there, again, there's various ways you can do that. But what I'm going to do is open this door. That's going to alert one of the howlers. So we're going to quickly blink up here. And 1 or 2 of them are going to come in and investigate. And while they're doing that, I'm going to put a bolt down there to get the guards running in. And I'll just wait patiently. Then shortly, we should have a gang war going on. Though they're not cooperating, so I think I'll just force the matter.
Whoa. What was that? Did you hear that?
Yeah, you should go check it out.
Shit! Howler!
There we go.
I'm not afraid of a bunch of... Come here!
All right.
I'll kill you for this. Slowly.
That sounds like the Howlers won that battle. And we make sure that we've baited in all the guards. Now we have not.
You belong in a prison cell!
Okay. Well, that didn't work out quite as well as I'd hoped. It's quite random how that battle turns out. Looks like it's all happening in the alley back here. Let's see.
You belong in a prison cell.
Oh, sounds like the guards and Howlers found each other again. Are they out back now? Okay. I think at this point there's got to be only one or two of them left. And I can just throw the chloroform at them if I need to. Ah, there we go. Now I can have this rune. And it should be clear to depower the wall of light. We good? I think at this point we're good, but I'll make a circuit anyway.
When the Grand Guard go into the place and see it packed solid with blood flies, they burn the building to the ground. And the ones on either side.
They may just smoke flash it. Either way,
Okay, and there's a couple of incendiary traps up back here. But fortunately, approaching from this side, they're easy to deal with. I think, though, that, I think we found the last of them. Yep. If there was anyone else, they would have shown up by now. That means that this area is now 100% safe. Let's go say hi to our friend at the black market.
I have people coming in, and I can't be responsible for their manners if you take my meaning. Paolo is coming by. See me later.
Understood.
Okay, let's
You
move.
should go. We can do business another time.
Now, I think what they're expecting you to do is hide out down in the shop there so that you can eavesdrop on the conversation.
Place is filthy. Makes a person sick.
Lock it down. This won't take long.
What I want them to do is go past me.
Look sharp, she says. Stay awake, she says. I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to be looking for.
And as soon as I'm sure they're past... Good. Alright, we'll slap this here for when they come back out. And I'm not going to stay and listen to them. I'm going to use the time productively and go get some other things. It'll take them a minute or two to finish their conversation and then slowly stroll out here. And while they're doing that, I'm going to hop up here and deal with some blood flies. And grab some valuables while we're at it. Alright. All the blood flies are dealt with. That should have been plenty of time for Powell and his thugs to start walking back out. Just in time for the show.
What happened here?
And one by one, they're going to walk into that. And there goes the thugs, and finally, as soon as Powell decides to get on with it, he's going to walk up into that as well, and then something rather dramatic is going to happen. I just noticed something really annoying while I was sitting here waiting. My health is full again. And that means that the bug is worse than I thought. I'll explain in a minute. And with that creepy sound effect, Powell is going to turn into a swarm of rats. And if you played Dishonored 1, then that behavior might look somewhat familiar. There's a reason to that, and we'll get to that later. But as I was saying, I just noticed that my health is full. And that means that the bug that resets your health when you only have a small amount of damage, that doesn't just occur on save game load. That occurs on level transition as well. That's a pain. Oof. After working on this and editing a bit, I think I've come up with a solution. I mentioned that this run was partially inspired by John from Many a True Nerd and his You Only Live Once series. Well, in those series, he encountered similar issues with Fallout healing when it shouldn't have, and otherwise resulting in the health bar not being accurate. So he implemented what he called the True Health Counter, where he would edit it on screen. And that's what I've done. I've gone back and taken a screenshot of what the health bar should look like and made an overlay, which I'm going to place on top of the health bar whenever it appears. And hopefully that should at least keep things from being visually confusing. And of course, if I take more damage further on down the line, then I will update that and create a new overlay for it. Hopefully at some point this will no longer be necessary, but for now, we'll deal with it as it comes. Anyway, let's set that aside and go talk to the black market.
I can't believe you're alive after crossing Paolo.
He talks a good game, but I was putting down his kind when I was 16.
Come in. I might have what you've been asking for.
I sure hope so, because what I'm asking for is the instant sleep dart.
Let's see. I have some upgrade plans for your gear.
And while I'm here, I'm going to grab a handful of other things. Let's grab the second level of magnification. Not often useful, but occasionally. I think that's good for now. And then I'm going to refill the 2 sleep darts I used. Get a rune. There's a key to unlock the ticket booth. That costs $250, and in my opinion, it is absolutely worth it. Because there's 186 coins in there, there's a blueprint, and there's a stun mine that you would normally have to pay 124 if you bought it. So, yes, I'll take that.
The situation in the Empire has driven the prices up, I'm afraid. Do find me again.
Oh, don't worry, I will. We'll be back once or twice more during this mission. For now, let's head back up into the formerly bloodfly-infested apartment, because we yet have a few things to do there. Unfortunately, now that the blood flies are taken care of and we looted everything on this floor, we can just proceed straight down. There's not a lot in here, but a few valuables and some whalebone in this back room.
Impressive how you managed to get there. Be careful. Those people in the oil tanks might still be around.
What people, you might be wondering? Well, if you pay him, or rather give him some coins, then he will give you a hint that there's some folks with whale oil tanks down here, but the trigger that causes him to say that doesn't really check whether you actually talked to him before.
Got it for you. Not easy to pinch either.
No, you screwed up. It won't work without another tank. Not enough blast. You've got to trust me on this.
All right.
I don't know shit about explosives. Never said I did. I'll go out again later and find some more.
Good. You can't rush jobs like this. It takes a smooth hand.
You can't piss around here forever either. Eventually some wanker will see us and the howlers will catch wind. But I hear you. One more tank.
As soon as that conversation finishes, the nearest one will start walking this way, and she'll turn to her right. And as soon as she does, we will take out both her and her friend. Now, if you do it while they're over there, there's a good chance one of them will fall into the whale oil tanks, which is generally not desirable. And what they were talking about is, if you go and get a third tank, then you can set it here, blow them all up, and it'll blast a hole into the black market shop so you can rob it. Now, you've probably noticed that I have not been robbing the black markets, and there's a reason for that. I'll get to that in detail once the mission comes, but in short, robbing more than one black market shop results in a bunch of enemies being in a place where they wouldn't otherwise be, and it makes it more dangerous than it needs to be. And I'd rather avoid that. And there's only one black market shop that I actually need to rob, one that has a bone charm in it, and we'll get to that when we get to it. For now, we're just going to leave them there and head right on back out. Looks like we only got one of those 2 sleep darts back, so I'll go refresh that.
Keep to the shadows. That's my advice.
Always, my friend. Always. And we're just about ready to proceed onwards. But first, let's rob this ticket booth. Like I said, there's a blueprint there, and we'll replenish the stun mine that we used to take out Paolo and his thugs. That's why I didn't buy one. And a bunch of money. And actually, really quick, let me just make sure that I looted all of the bodies. Pretty sure I did. Yep. Okay. Oh, nope. Didn't come up here. That's fine. Have to anyway. Let's head to Upper Venta. I've watched a lot of people's Let's Plays of this over the years, and you would be amazed at how many people I've seen watch this ride and totally expect it to act like a roller coaster and go right back down in a steep plunge after they get up here.
I can see Jindosh's mansion from here. The gate's down. I'll need the code.
And we'll get to that. That's just telling you that I do need to get the code. Let's slap this on the wall here as we go by. And then blink to the end of the hallway. As soon as we hear footsteps, one guy is going to retreat back here. And then we'll take out the guy who is absolutely hyper-focused on his typing. He's really into that report. I'll slap another on the wall here. And the last one at the top of the stairs.
Give me a handful of the Clockwork, and I'll clean up the dust district.
I don't know. Maybe the tall boys were better from the time of the rat plague. They made people stand up straight.
I hated those things. They were awful for a non-lethal playthrough. There was no non-lethal way to take him out. Alright. As conversation is done, so that guy on the right, as soon as he passes the keyhole, exit out of it. And use a dart on him. And choke this guy. And now we are going to entirely dispense with stealth for a moment, quite deliberately. Whirlwind, that's sword/speed, that's not all that useful.
Hello? One night. Someone shut off the wall of light. Damn. No use running.
Okay.
Wait for my orders. your command. Keep your distance. He's dangerous.
And they're just going to proceed to knock themselves out in a series of stun mines.
I'll kill you for that.
I put down 3 stun mines, and with 3 fires each, that's enough to take out 9 guards. And I believe there's either exactly that amount or just less than that in total between this area and the area on the other side of the Wall of Light. And we've got the gate code. It is 312. And we'll choke out this guy so that he remains napping. Let's see what else we got going on out here. Anyone? Okay. There's still a stun mine active. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I definitely have not pulled them all. Yeah, it's still allowing me to pick that up because that... So that means that that one has not yet fired off.
What was that?
You should come check it out.
What the fuck is going on here?
How can anyone do such a thing? I just can't.
Huh?
Come on. All right. I think that has gotten all of them. There might be one more, but there is. I'll just throw this at him. Yep, I think we are all good up here.
Is a friend of the Duke's. She and her husband got one of those Clockwork soldiers' money.
Yeah, that conversation they were about to have, essentially one of their friends bought a Clockwork Soldier, and it slaughtered a family of people who came over to steal some stuff, and along with it slaughtered their favorite gardener. And the thing that they were most upset about, they felt really sorry for the person who had to watch that. So, they're horrible people. And no need to waste a second incendiary bolt on that. Zephyr. Which one is that again? Let me remind me of that. Speed increase when walking or running, you take more damage. Okay, well, if this was not the playthrough that it is, I would absolutely equip that, because I like speed. But, no, we're not doing that. We're absolutely not doing that. Alright. There's a handful more things to get here. There's a pouch under this body, and it's easier to get if you just get the body out of the way. And a couple of things here. And now this is an alternate way without getting the gate code. You can just blink over there, or far reach. But no, we're not doing that. We're just going to take the scenic route. There we go. Just real quick here, I'm going to blink up here and use this faucet to replenish. And when you've got Spirit Water at 4x, potions are essentially an afterthought for emergencies. Which includes 312, that's right. Alright, let's head up to the Clockwork Mansion. This is going to be the first of 2 visits to the Clockwork Mansion, and I'll explain what I mean as I go along.
Jindosh could have stayed at the Academy of Natural Philosophy. He might have done some good there.
Or he might have just gotten himself kicked out again.
Alright, I need to eliminate Jindosh and find Anton Sokolov.
Now what they're expecting you to do here is pull this lever, which is going to reconfigure the room in spectacular fashion, introduce you to a Clockwork soldier, and introduce you to Jindosh, who is going to start taunting you over the loudspeakers. We don't want to do that. What I want to do is reach Jindosh without alerting him to the fact that I was ever here in the first place. And to do that, you just need to blink up here and get into the space behind the walls.
The space behind the walls.
I just said that. Do stealth through here, however, because if you go walking or running, the people on the other side of the walls will hear it. And we don't want them to alert quite yet. When I have Spirit Water, I tend to use Blink a lot more liberally just to save time. Bit more like people who don't have to worry about mana replenishment do.
You think at these prices, the man wouldn't keep us waiting?
There's only one.
He's got other things on his mind, I'm afraid. And these 2 are just here to purchase some Clockwork soldiers, but I don't think they're going to get to do that. And you see I got that sleep dart back. I'll just bring this lazy guard over to join them. Now, part of reaching Jindosh undetected is not using the reconfiguration levers. You can do so exactly once, and he'll just assume that it's a glitch or something. If you do it more than once, then he'll know someone's here. And this is the only one I'm going to use. At least until after I've taken him out. And the reason I'm using it is so that I can gain access to this conductive filaments blueprint. Now, this is pretty much the one thing I came here for on this first visit, but while I'm here, I'm also going to simplify my second visit a bit. So I'm going to blink over here, and that officer that you might have briefly seen there, shortly he's going to path over to the right, and his back is going to remain turned for a short time.
Karnaka needs a good dogfighting club, like the ones in my father's time.
You're horrible. Come on, buddy. Get on with your path. There he goes. Okay.
I do think the officer should...
I don't care what you think. Now let's just set him in here where no one will find him. And while we're here, there's a bone charm over here. I'd just like to see what it is. Spiritual Fortune. Now that's a good one. Sometimes drinking a mana elixir restores all mana. Yeah, absolutely. What do I want to use for that? Yeah, I don't need mana regeneration while underwater at this point. Oop, not spiritual sacrifice, spiritual fortune. Fortune. There it is. Okay, and with that, we are done here for our first visit. Now, if you don't know what this upgrade does, you might be wondering why I'm leaving now. You've already seen how powerful stun mines are, especially once you get the upgrades that let them fire 2 and then 3 times. What conductive filaments does is it gives them a complete AoE effect, meaning that it will not just zap the person that it hits, it will zap everyone around them. So if you've got a squad clustered together, like Paolo and his friends that when they were coming up, it's not just going to zap one of them, it's going to zap all of them with a single shot. So you don't have to wait for it to reset, you don't have to waste multiple charges. It is incredibly powerful.
You want blueprints for better weaponry.
Chain lightning. Enemies near the primary target are also electrified. Absolutely.
A pleasure to do business.
And since I used up all my stun mines in Upper Aventa, I'll replenish all of them,
I hope you'll think of me again.
and then proceed straight back to the Clockwork Mansion. Might seem like a bit of tedious back and forth, but if you cleared the place out, you can sprint the entire way, and if you skip the carriage ride cutscenes, it takes very little time at all, and in my opinion, it's completely worth it for that upgrade. Now that we're back in the Clockwork Mansion, let's head up there the same way. This time, though, I do want to stop by up here before I forget, and pick up a handful of valuables. Sure, with stealthed. And we'll head back down into this little place where you found that bone charm and proceed around this way. Now you can pull this out to depower the arc pylon that the officer I took out up there will pull up, but it's not necessary. If you take out the officer before he does that scripted sequence, then that will never happen, and more importantly, depowering that will alert Jindosh to the fact that someone is here. In a moment, these guys will separate. And I will drop this guy right about there. And we got our sleep dart back. Good. Hopefully you're starting to see just how powerful that Lucky Needle Charm is when you've got it in a 4X version. Oh, right. Want to slap down a stun mine here. That's for later. And pick up one to replace it. And have a quick drink. Sometimes those little passageways are a bit fiddly with getting through them. Okay. I think we have to get a little closer to trigger this guy to eventually start moving. Yeah, momentarily he's going to walk down that hallway.
Maya spent 3 months over on the west side.
And I'll drop him about there, and she's going to alert and go over and look at him. And I can hit hers as well. Might as well use a potion here. And we got one of those sleep darts back. Good. Okay. Let me slap down another stun mine here for later. I'll take a handful of things.
What kind of sadistic joke is this? With this machine, maybe you won't have to die after all, Jindosh.
That note's just telling us about the non-lethal option.
It's a long way down.
Yeah, so let's not fall. Because that would be an incredibly embarrassing way to end this run. I'm going to play it safe and blink my way up here, rather than doing exactly that. Okay. Not sure why that happened, but all right. There. That's okay. I don't mind using some potions. How many did I just use? Yeah, half of them. That's fine. We'll get some of those back here, and we can just buy more when we get back to the black market shop. The fact that we had spirit water meant that we had those to burn. Alright, so momentarily here, a Clockwork soldier is going to path back in front of us. Be patient. Impatience waiting for an NPC to do their path is what got us that first hit. There it is. Okay, okay, okay. Must have gotten up here just as it started pathing away, and we had to wait for it to go the long way around. Okay, good. Be patient. Come on.
The machine has completed another full instruction set.
I'll get your instruction set back moving the other direction. Okay.
This must be Jindosh's lab.
Uncertainty. This plays as some machine should enter active state now. Combat protocol. The machine has lost its quarry. Playback indicates lost enemy.
There we go. That's what we wanted. Hey. Let's give it a sticky mine to play with. And that's you all taken care of. Just more notes about the electroshock machine and about Sokolov. Okay, there's a blueprint down here. Make sure I got all the stuff here. Okay. Let's grab this potion. And I believe there are some copper wires in here, but I can never quite remember exactly which cabinets they're in. This is why I'm not a speedrunner. Ah, there we go. There's a piece of ore there. And I'll take the sleep dart back, thank you.
This must be the electroshock machine Jindosh mentioned.
Now, in order to power this, we need to configure the other stations so that they use the least power possible, and that's going to require anatomy and optics. And while we wait for that to reconfigure, let's take care of a handful of other things. I'm going to bring that bridge back up. Just pick up a few valuables that are lying around. And get this rune that just came up. Sick burn. Let's see. I think there's a coil of wire over here. Yeah.
If you won't agree to collaborate on the next Clockwork prototype, I'll use the device on that brain of yours, Sokolov. I refuse. If I'm to be a drooling idiot, at least I won't be bothered by any more of your rambling theories.
The electroshock machine should work now.
Yep. Now, I don't think I want to stay here and listen to this because it's quite awful. If you played the first Dishonored, you might remember the non-lethal, quote-unquote, option for Lady Boyle, which was delivering her to a creepy-ass stalker who was going to kidnap and imprison her. And there is a strong argument to be made that that was almost worse than killing her. I kind of feel similarly about this, about using the electroshock machine on this guy's brain. It's kind of horrible, and sometimes I just cannot bring myself to do it. But we're trying to maintain low chaos in this playthrough, and that's pretty critical, so yeah. That's the thing. Let me bring up weaponry so I can replenish that later. And creep up on these guys. I don't think they'll actually wake up if I don't, but placing this right about here should be able to hit both of them now that we've got that upgrade. Yep. I'll pick another one back up to replenish it.
Temperature back to normal. Waking up.
All right. That's one more taken care of. Now, taking out all the clockworks is not strictly necessary for the rules of the challenge, but I like to do it anyway. And there are so many stun mines in this map that there's almost no reason not to if you can. Let's pull out the whale oil tank. And wait for configuration to finish and the lever to unlock. And it was blink straight out of here. Now let's have a quick drink. And let's see, what configuration are we in? I think I need to spin this around. Yep, that's going to open up that side.
This playback indicates that the machine is waking up. Well, the machine should enter active state now.
Brianna Ashworth.
Yep, we'll get to you.
So many events in motion, each exerting subtle gravity. With Delilah, a new empire could be drawn, and all...
Alright, let's see what we've got for Blackbone Charm here. Ooh. Oh, that is a fantastic find. Expansive Spirit. That increases my maximum mana, and that means I have a bigger mana shield in front of my health. Fantastic. Yeah, I think we're going to replace Bitter Blood with that. Man, that's so good. That is so good.
Whether I seduce my own teacher with the thrill of discovery, or whether I'm forced to apply the clamps to his flesh and turn on the voltage, no matter.
Yeah, Kirin, I don't think that's going to be happening now. A lot of goodies in this part of the room. How are we doing on collectibles? Yeah, we just got the one bone charm down in the basement near the assessment chamber. And speaking of which... yeah, already got the stun mine in here. But that's why I brought up the weaponry table. Which is where exactly? Ah. Full on nades, but I will take the rest of this. And full on stun mines as well. And you can see I've got 3 more of them here, so we are well stocked for all that remains in this map. I think first... I'm going to... where do I want to go? I think here. Yep. Coins here and some copper wire. Where's the copper? There it is. Okay. I'll just make the circuit here, make sure I got everything, but I think I did. Yep. I think we're good. So then all I have to do now is go down to the assessment chamber. And since there's no one left conscious who might accidentally walk through the wall of light, I'll just use a rewire tool on it. Oh, no, I'm wrong. I thought that I had taken her out earlier, and I did not, so, okay. I must have forgotten to do that. Usually what I do is, when I'm standing over there, I sleep dart her when she's standing over here, but, that was my bad. I apparently forgot to do that on this run. Oops. Okay. All right, that worked out anyway. Resounding Shriek, that is not too useful. That's just, I think, for howling bolts. And I don't really use those that much, although I might should do. Yeah, I know. Should come check it out. So if you attach a stun mine to an object and carry it around like this, it essentially functions as a proximity defense. So now wherever this... Yep, there he is. And that is that. And grab this painting.
Sokolov.
Horrible. It would have to be you. Perhaps Megan came for you in Dunwall. But Jindosh...
He's alive, but I burned his mind out. Used one of his machines against him.
Well, that's the Corvo I remember.
As I mentioned, I've watched a lot of people's Let's Plays of this over the years, and almost invariably, people look at that animation that just happened when he passed out, and they think he just died. And honestly, I don't blame them for thinking that. That's kind of what it looks like. Now there is another bit of loot over here. It's not much, but I do want to get it. But the chamber has to be in this configuration for it to be open. Yeah, it's just a pouch and some tools, and the tools are random. Okay, now you remember that stun mine that I slapped down over by the elevator earlier? We're about to find out why. Because when you bring Sokolov out, it is scripted to spawn in those 3 guards and have them ride the elevator down, regardless of whether you had alerted anyone or anything, or they had any other reason to know to do that. And if you've watched my Stalker series, then you know how I feel about games that magically spawn enemies in that didn't exist before. And my general reaction to that is, okay, if I can place something there to intercept them in a cheap way, I'm going to do it, because if you're going to be cheap, so am I. Not that I need an excuse to be cheap in this run. Okay. And there's a couple of people here, but I do not mind just knocking them both out. I would not normally waste a sleep dart on both of them like that, but since I've got that lucky needle at 4x, I got both of those back. I didn't need that. I think there's a... Is there another piece of whalebone out here? I thought that there was. And, oh, that's right, it's down here. Yay, into the water. This doesn't freak me out as much as Ocean does. Now let's bring this table down. And let's gently set Sokolov on the table. And before we go, blink up here. Grab a few more valuables. And then send dinner up. And the game just crashed. That really sucks. I hope I did not just lose a bunch of progress. Okay, good. Not a lot of progress lost. And those guys, once again, are just going to knock themselves out. I did not get the second dart back that time. That's unfortunate. Now let's bring the table down. And just quickly go get the stuff again. Not sure what happened there. There was no error message. It just unceremoniously quit the desktop. But at least the last autosave was not that far back. And the pool table goes away, and we are here. Now, we could duck back into the behind-the-scenes area really quick on our way up, but we still have some enemies to take out. I'm going to grab this pouch. And create a stun grenade. Think we got everything? Yep. Okay, good. Place that second one down there just as in case of an emergency if one of them got past that. But I believe we are good. And I can't remember if I picked up a plaque, but I'll do that now. I like collecting all the souvenirs just so that I have more scenery in my room on the Dreadful Whale. Not sure why I'm grabbing those. Alright, now there are a couple more Clockworks left, and they're only called out if Kirin is still awake when you bring Sokolov back this way. He will bring up a couple of Clockworks to interfere with you. However, I don't want to leave them there. I would just soon get rid of them. So I'm going to drop down into the behind-the-scenes area. Wait for reconfiguration to complete. And good. They are both still asleep. So I'm going to take care of them in a very simple way, and that is to put the rewire tool on them. And the reason why that takes care of them is because after a short time of being overridden, they are basically going to explode. They self-destruct. But we don't need to wait around for that to happen. We are just about done here, but I do want to run back to the weaponry station really quick and grab another stun mine. And since we had Sokolov with us, we teleport straight to the carriage. Now, once we get down there, the area has changed. Lower Aventa is no longer safe. 3 witches have spawned in, and one of them is going to be alerted to come investigate by the fact that the carriage came in. So let's get out of here. And let's see. Okay, I see her. And her. Now, sometimes she dies from that fall, but I'm not too concerned about it at this time. Is she going to come up this way, or is she just going to give up? Yeah, she's going to come up here, and that suits me just fine, because it means we can drop on her. Okay. Let's go get Sokolov. And I'm going to set him here for just a moment. I want to first see if I get my sleep dart back. And yeah, this is just a letter from Delilah explaining why they're here. They were obviously sent here to ambush us. Yeah, she died from that fall, and that's fine. You definitely want to be more careful about how you take her out if you're concerned about no kill. But that's fine. We are not particularly concerned. One witch is not a lot in the grand scheme of things as far as chaos is concerned.
Come in, my friend. Always a delight to see you.
I do not want that armored bullet upgrade because I do not want shots ricocheting.
Let's see. I have some upgrade plans for your gear.
I just want to check and see if I need any of them. Oh, I do want to get that magnetized bullet, though, because being able to stun Clockworks with a bullet is nice. And I have so much money that I think it's time to get all of the other upgrades.
You won't be sorry.
Just that I can carry more. That'll come in handy soon enough. And nothing I need over there. I do think that I would like my incendiary bolts to have a better radius. That's nice for taking out bloodfly nests. And I think the rest of that I can do without for the moment. And let's just get one of the sleep darts back. And one more thing to get here. Just remembered that there is an elixir here. And as I look at the clock, it looks like this episode is actually running quite long. And since there's a sequence that plays after this, I think we are going to save turning into Megan for next time. I'm going to stop this episode here. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and drop down in the comments to let me know what you thought. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next Friday.